Hey everybody out here in Cody, Wyoming. As you know, we've been going through a new rifle build process for the last couple months. Garrett finally gave me the call. It's ready to go. So we're going to pick this rifle up today, go over it, use their indoor range here to check zero and everything. Also check out their new headquarters facility, give me a tour of what the build process, everything looks like. Here we go.
Yo!
How's it going?
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah. My first time here, so it's pretty sweet. Walking into the
First time?
Yeah.
Well.
So you want to start looking at the gun or you want to start a tour? What do you think?
You come all this way, let's take a quick peek at the gun.
There we go. I like it.
And then let's go walk through and show you
I like it.
where it came through.
I like it.
Yep.
All right. Pretty.
Get her out.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna love the weight and the balance.
Oh my gosh. How much does it weigh all total? Do you know? It's super light.
It's got an 8 in it. It's on the lower side of 8 pounds, which is really nice. You got to be careful. You can't put too much caliber in that, or it's really you won't have a good shooting experience. We stopped at 7 PRC, which I'm comfortable with. But if you would have said, "Hey, I have to have 300 PRC," we would have done something slightly different. Because the shooting experience wouldn't have been what you're after. But you'll be able to shoot this very comfortably. Again, as we talked on that when we were on that consultation online, Magna stock, and then the Climber barreled action. So a little smaller profile barrel, a little shorter, and that's where you're getting some of that kind of that gain or loss in this case of some of the weight.
I can't get over how light it is.
Yeah. And we didn't give up anything on scope, right? We still got the 5 to 25 there. So, you know, you're going to be looking at big country over there. And, and I think you're going to be.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're going to check a zero in the tunnel.
Yep.
And then we had 40-mile-an-hour winds yesterday. Doesn't look like they're here this morning, but I think we're going to run you out to the range for a minute. Okay. And have Mitchell kind of run through a drill with you real quick. Okay. See how you feel out to 500 yards.
Okay, perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's great.
As big a hunt as this is, make sure we're dialed.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. This is sweet.
Leave the gun here and let's go back, walk through the shop, and show you how these things are made.
Sounds good. Machine full of energy drinks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It keeps us all rolling. We'll go clear to the end here. Materials come in that door, raw materials, and they work their way all the way up this aisle here. You know, that gun we just looked at this morning, the only thing we're not doing on that at the moment is the trigger, and then that scope from Loophole. Yep. So everything else, barrels, brakes, bottom metal, stocks, action, all the little parts are in there, the rails that you're going to be using, those all come in, as a raw material that through that door, and then work their way down here. And that's it. You know, when we first started, your first gun from us, you know, we probably assembled the majority of it. And now today, 30,000 square feet worth of machines and trying to figure out how to manufacture. But take a peek in here. So we're building a stock. When we first started, we had a 5-month lead time waiting on those stocks. We'd order, you'd tell me I want this color, that, and then we'd order it. And if you changed anything, it was a pain. It was a pain. Now we'll produce, you know, half a dozen to 10, depending on which model they're doing. Each day, and I can change colors on the fly, and you know, hand orientation left to right, different models. That's probably been one of the neater accomplishments we have. I mean, heck, now you see we got a stock department with half a dozen folks that are getting after it every day. So that's a fun part of our business. We're in barrels now. So you know, some of those early guns we were sourcing from another barrel manufacturer. So we're doing our own barrels now, and that's, if you think about. So we talked about kind of inventory holding and that. We have about 3 contours, about 5 lengths, about 6 calibers. So back in the day, we used to have to buy those individually. And so you think of the number of SKUs we had to stock. And if you want a 20-inch barrel with a C20 contour, you know, that finishes at 750 at the muzzle, if I didn't have one of those, I had to go order another one. Now, we're buying the stock. We can turn it to the diameter we want. We can cut it to the length. We're wrapping, we're grinding, we're finishing that here in-house. And so, again, just like the stocks, now we can stock some raw material in the barrel material, and we can drill it for the caliber we want, contours. That gun, I could tell, you know, they're feeling a little bit better each time you pick one of these things up.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to shoot that thing.
Awesome. Quality control.
Okay.
Which, if you think about some of our early days, we get the gun completely assembled and shoot it to find out that we have a problem somewhere. Barrel action, ammo, whatever, right? There's 100 things we could evaluate. You know, we've invested in some equipment here to try and find out beforehand, before it even gets built, before we waste that time putting it together and painting and assembling and shooting, putting it through the paces that we have part out of spec for whatever reason. Happen. This QC can happen. They can assist the engineering team to make sure parts before they go to production. We can do some batch testing when something comes off these machines, make sure do some lot testing, make sure everything checks out. So this has been a pretty cool addition to what we're doing, and something that I think separates us from a lot of the smaller folks that don't have this quite technology. We'll spit out some actions in this cell up here. Okay. So that Nexus line, you shot one of our Nexus a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that done right here. Big piece of aluminum comes in and out spits the body and some of the bolt parts there, barrel extensions. Okay. We're doing that here in this cell. We won't go in there, but so composite finishing is the room. So all the inletting, those stocks we started with, they come out as a shell, flat top, flat bottom. Then we'll run them through this operation here. You think about all the potential combinations. You have a left-handed bolt notch, right-handed, different barrel contours, action lengths, different bottom metal footprints. So there's quite a few different iterations that can happen there. We have a program there for the system. She queues up in that machine there and goes in left and away we go. Okay, so behind us in the room, there are a few things going on here. We are prepping for paint, so all those parts that get machined, they're typically tumbled or blasted, get them ready for a surface prep. We need the paint. With some paint groups behind us, most everything has to come through the oven and get baked for a little while. So we've got a couple different patterns and a couple different colors inside each of those patterns. So everything hand painted here by hand. Yeah. That's one thing. So that's what your stock looked like 10 days ago, and runs through this cell here, and out it comes, ready for Nepal.
Ready for Nepal.
Just like that. Are you ready for Nepal?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Running through a station.
Getting there. So
ammo. This is, if you think about what we've tried to build in terms of like a system, this is separating us, as you know, from a lot of different folks. Again, it's who we are in terms of the system. We continue to do it, but it's been all hands on deck there.
Yeah, I bet. No, I only shoot your guys' ammo. I don't mess around with anybody else's. I don't need any of those types of things. So we're chambering. All the chambering happens here, and a couple machines behind us are doing suppressors. Okay.
That's been pretty fun. Anymore, we almost won't go shooting around here unless we're suppressed.
Yeah.
Such a nice experience for everybody involved.
Yep.
You don't blow all the animals out. Maybe there's a follow-up shot, or if we're hunting a couple people cow hunting, you know, we can do something like that. In comes the raw material. Spit out some baffles. There's a weld process there, and then a painting process to get them ready to roll. But let's see if we can hear that. So validation. Your gun a couple weeks ago ran through here, so they work up the aisleway there, assembled, and they go to the range next door for shooting. So we got the 100-yard tunnel here enclosed, so we can get rid of some of this wind. But let's go get your gun sorted, and we'll bring it in here. We'll check your zero real quick before we go on to the conditions.
Sounds good.
We'll try and do the 4473. So I'm gonna go get your form. Let's try and do that right now. In case we get a delay, it gives a couple hours to while we're messing around.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Good.
Let's try that. I'm gonna get you the form.
What'd you think?
Awesome.
We filled that sucker up.
You did. Yep, you did.
12 years to see that.
What do you want to do first?
Let's do that BR4.
I think get it in, and then if you need to tweak it later, we can.
Yeah, for sure. We can go through that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, Mark, do you have our app downloaded on
Yep.
your phone? I'm guessing. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull all the data that's on this turret. So what we're looking for is the bullet. Obviously,
Okay.
hey, we got a 7mm PRC, 180 grain burger hybrid. Here's the BC, the muzzle velocity, and then the temperature and the elevation. This is cut for, as in the yardage turret.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
So we're just going to pull that data from here and punch it in here. So if we go to manual, we'll name this 7PRC. Okay, so we're good there. And then the humidity we just put in the middle. That's
Okay.
what this is cut for. The rangefinder is going to pull the temperature and the elevation of where you're at that day. But then it comes back to this turret to say, hey, I know this turret's cut for this, but let's say you were at 8,000 feet, you know, and the temperature was 20 degrees or whatever. The rangefinder is going to make that change on the fly and say, dial this instead.
Going to auto adjust for
Correct.
it. Yep.
So you're going to see a straight line of sight yardage, and then the next number will be a BDC number. So that's the number you dial your turret to.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So now this profile's in here. So what I'll do is I'll have you. All right, it's already in the view there in the bottom. So you should see 7PRC. That's how you know. Okay, that's the gun I need. So if it's not in there, you can go in there and go through the menu and pick what one. So
with how you did it, are the other ones still in here?
Still, the other ones will still be in there, yep. So to select through those if you want, you can hit the fire button and I can walk that through there real quick. So hit fire,
Yep.
then you hit menu once,
Okay.
and then hit the forward button until you get to profiles.
Okay.
And then once you hit there, hit menu again.
Yep.
And then now go forward, and then all your profiles should be in there.
Yep.
And a couple other ones in there as well. There's
Yep.
like a regular modified range number as well. So go to the profile you want. So
Yep.
in this case, the 7PRC.
Yep.
And then hit the fire button twice. And that should send you back to the main screen.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. That is it.
Perfect.
Now,
Okay, so we're all set.
on the phone, when I do that, it takes about 30 minutes explaining what you did in a minute and a half. So that's why I brought my rangefinder.
Perfect. Okay, so now it's set. So this is essentially matched up with your rifle, right? So, you know, it's pulling all the ballistic information of this, how your gun shot, the ammunition, you know, here with this turret. And so when you get out in the field and you range, it's going to make those corrections for you so you don't even have to think about it. So
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, Mark, let's go over this. Let's go over this bipod, kind of how it attaches, and some of the features real quick, just in case you didn't know about it. So, we got a pretty slick attachment system here. So we call it our Neo Lock. So, easiest way I do it, if you're right-handed, I'm gonna hold the gun like this, and I'm looking for, you know, obviously our Picatinny slots here. We've got a little lug here that we need to line up. So, essentially, I hook it on, roll it forward until it locks in place, and then it stays there.
Okay.
So deployment's obviously quick, so when it's time to shoot, right, I just grab my legs, fold them down. I've got different width adjustments, so there's a button here on this other side, just on this left side. I push that in and I can go either for a wide stance, kind of a medium, or a narrow.
Okay.
And so, I mean, the medium's kind of the most standard, if you will, or the most common. And then we've got adjustments, either a twist lock for a length, and then even more, a button here on the top. And that'll go out to 19 inches in total overall length.
Okay.
If you really needed it. And there's little notches along the way as well. So for just quick stuff, for me, like if I'm about to lay down, you know, I can do a really quick adjustment there, get in position. If I need to make any more adjustments, I can do that with a twist lock or, you know, those notches up and down. So it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Let's see. So bipod's pretty straightforward there. And sorry, these lock in the down position. So you just push this to, and then pull it to the top.
Okay.
Arca rail, obviously shooting off a tripod is kind of a big thing in the industry nowadays. We were kind of the leaders of that, putting Arca rails on and stuff. And so, yeah, this here we can clip into this tripod. So this is our Hunter tripod. We've got our backpacker. Hunter's definitely more built for your shooting off of, if you will, just because it's going to be a lot more stable and handle the weight of a gun and things like that, even though this gun hardly weighs anything. But yeah, just how this clips in is just going to be, we're using a standard Arca once again. So we can throw this rifle up here on the top, lock that down in place, super stable, super quick. There's kind of a middle position on this lever on the side where this can slide forward or backward, you know. And for me, like if I'm shooting off a tripod, you know, I'm obviously still like we do at the range, and we'll go over that today, I'm sure, as well as trying to stay as square as we can to the rifle and the target, right? And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this left arm as straight as possible. So you may have longer arms than me, so this lever, I'll get it to where this this length is just right where my left arm's nice and straight.
Okay.
And so then for me, once I get that, I'm grappling around here at the top and kind of putting my thumb up here on the top edge of the stock.
Okay.
And it kind of keeps some down pressure. So you can kind of figure out where this feels the best for you.
Okay.
The farther forward, the better, just because it's going to be closer to kind of what your bipod does, you know, on a bench.
Yep.
Because this is going to react a little different underneath recoil off of a tripod than a regular bipod. So we'll check that out here as well, is to see, hey, did we see a difference at range when shooting off the tripod versus the bipod? Because sometimes you can see, hey, I shoot either a little low or I shoot a little high off of the tripod.
Okay.
So we'll track that out there once we get some shooting done. So
Okay, perfect.
anyhow, quick overview on that bipod and tripod setup, which is pretty epic. So,
That's awesome.
well, let's go hit the tunnel.
Let's do it.
All right.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works. All right, Mark, so we got a pretty sweet setup here. So this system we have in here is going to gather all the ballistics that you're going to see on this turret for you.
Okay.
So our older setup where we used to have to go and prove every rifle all the way out to 1,000 yards every single time. Obviously, now that we control everything in-house, you saw with the tour this morning,
Yeah.
you know, we make our own barrels. So we've got all the calibers and everything tuned and trued for our bullets and our groove diameters and everything. So once we come in here and grab, you know, your ballistics or your rifle has a muzzle velocity, it'll gather also a BC as well. But it's going to print all that information back to your rifle, and that's what we put on the turret. So this, as you look down here, and you'll see on the video here, some of these things we're shooting through is gathering all that data, and then we'll print it here on the screen so we can see, hey, here's exactly how well this shot, here's the muzzle velocity, so, as you'll see that here.
Awesome.
Okay, let's get set up and we can get a few rounds down. Alrighty, let's get muffed up. Obviously.
Just got the rifle picked up, got it zeroed in the indoor range here. Wind actually didn't get too bad today, so we're gonna head out to the range and have some real fun now.
See it. So it kind of steps back, you know, as it works its way out. So
Okay.
we can, honestly, I would just have us start at 500.
Okay.
You know, I think it might be 550. The 5H, right?
Yep.
So in our profile, you can change that so we have a base wind in there of 5 mile an hour.
Okay.
So as you range that target, it's giving you, hey, for a 5 mile an hour, if it was 90 degrees, right, left or right, that's how much you would hold for wind. So hunting scenarios, I use the base wind inside 800 yards.
Okay.
As soon as you get past that, I'm really going to want to go to a vector wind, which is where I'm going to input an actual wind direction on the
Okay.
rosette there, right? You can angle in the rangefinder. Hey, I've got to say it. Let's say I had a 2 o'clock at 12 miles an hour.
Okay,
Right?
yep.
And then it'll give me that. So this is pretty decent wind. So I'm going to try to actually put this in there. So go ahead and let's have you go ahead and use the arrow button first.
Arrow button first?
Yep. So you
Turn
hit
it
the
on, yeah.
forward or backward button, and you'll see the little clock position start blinking. Is that right? In the top right.
Yep.
Okay, so just go ahead, and it's going to be, right now I'm seeing a 9 o'clock wind, so go ahead and put the arrow at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, and then I hit menu. And then now this is going to go into the wind speed. So then go
Okay.
ahead and we're going to go up to 13 miles an hour.
Okay.
Okay, so once we're at 13, now go ahead and range that target at 550 or so.
Okay. 2.9.
Perfect. So it's giving you 2.9 for that wind.
Yep,
Right? Okay,
yep.
perfect. So we're just going to use that as a baseline right now, because right now it's pretty calm, right?
Yep.
I mean, that wind is, gusting up to around 13 or 15 is what
Yep.
I'm seeing.
Yep.
So we'll just look at that and make sure we see that. So go ahead and it's telling you 500 or 550. What's the BDC? It's probably not. It's probably changing a little bit.
10.1 MOA.
Okay. What's the BDC number? So at the top left. you have-
553.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll have 550 LOS, and then it'll change to 550 B or 5 something BDC. Reason I'm saying is there should be a difference because your turret's cut for 10,000 feet.
563 BDC.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So we're going to dial to 563. As you can see, there's a 10 or a 10, just over a 10-yard difference from
Yep.
5,000 feet to 10,000 feet.
Uh-huh.
Where we're at today is 5,000. And so anyways, we're only at 550 yards, but as you go farther out, that number's going to separate a lot more.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Yep, so 563.
We're in a lot more dense air here than you would be at 10,000.
Yeah, so right there. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Split that between the 5.
Now, does as that changes the MOA when it says 10.1 MOA? Is that still rock
That'll
solid?
be old.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's giving you the straight. The top left is just telling you, hey, here's line of sight, and here's the corrected number.
Gotcha.
So it's essentially just giving you both information.
And
Just make
the
sure-
MOA is just the corrected number.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, 10.1. So you're right at 10 right there.
Yep.
So okay. Bingo. Dead center. A little strong on the wind. Must have a lull. So it's just off the left edge there. Touch below. Okay, so see the numbers like the black white on this one burn on the far right side.
Yeah, yep.
So it's the black white.
Yeah,
Just go
yep.
straight above it. That yellow rock.
Okay.
Big
Yeah,
yellow
yep.
square.
Yep.
Just directly below it. There's going to be a red plate just above the white and black. You'll see a kind of
Okay,
red colored
okay.
plate.
Okay.
And that'll get your direction. So let's change it from about 9 o'clock to about that 8 o'clock direction.
1110,
11:10. Okay.
1150 BDC.
Okay. Perfect.
29.
All right. So this is where, so this turret, obviously we're shooting way past our, most likely hunting distances. This
Yeah.
is where we're going to convert to MOA on the bottom row. So
Okay.
there's the MOA number on there, it says.
So this is 24.
Yep.
And I gotta get to 29.3.
Okay.
Right,
So
so-
25 is one full spin. So right there's 25.
Yep.
Then we go 26, 27, 28, 29. What was it again? Sorry.
29.3.
29.3. So 29 and a quarter is pretty much what we're down to. Yep, you got it.
All right. They don't believe in the training wheels. It's just 500 right to 1100 here. I like it.
Like it. Okay. You on that target there, Neil?
I'm ready.
Okay. 4 minutes left. Send it. All right, we were just off the left, a little strong on the wind. Let's go to 3. Bingo.
Nice.
Dead center. Great shot. Yeah, so best some of these legs are this. Let's take the ball out of it instead of using just the right through the scope. That way.
Gotcha.
Ready? Yes, sir. Send when ready. Bingo. Perfect. That's awesome. Were you able to see it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Bingo. Back
There
in
it
the
is.
center.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. Okay. Bingo. Man, you stacked them.
That is awesome.
2 touching right there.
There's something about hearing steel.
Yeah,
That's
right. It's the best sound, isn't it?
Well, to say that this gun is dialed is a giant understatement. Shot both off the bench here, off the bipod, then we also shot off a tripod on the ground, so learned a lot there. Shot at 550, then out to 1150, and I mean dialed. Great experience here. Every time I come to Gunwerks, I always tell everybody if I can leave with one bit of advice, it just makes me a better shooter and a better hunter in the field, and I got a couple that I'm gonna bring home with me from this trip. April 7th. Yep.